So this video is about workout principles, and there's really 3 points that I have about how I want to work out and how I want to address my inner health that's not good, outer health that shows that I'm out of shape, and I just know I am out of shape. It's just that inner feeling that I don't get much energy inside of me, how efficient my life is, and there's a lack, and there's a area where I can improve. Now there's 3 areas that I can say that you can start improving, which is basically your spiritual, your input, and your output. Now spiritual, okay, let's go on the spiritual side. For me, that's the foundation part of fitness. If the first thing you want to do to get better, to get healthier, to lose weight, to gain efficiency with how you intake nutrition, or to look better, whatever it may be, you want to get healthier, okay? Start spiritual. When I mean spiritual, I mean Jesus Christ, spiritual, okay? Not different kind of meditations and white magic, new age, chanting stuff, not Buddhism, Hinduism, Catholicism, Baptism, just pure Christianity, Father, Son, Jesus Christ with the Holy Spirit, through the Bible, relationship, through unconditional love, all these things. Now, why I say it starts with spiritual, okay. I don't know if you may have ever seen this program. It's where people are very, very, very much obese, let's say 500 to 600 pounds in weight, and what happens is that they usually find a reason why they got obese. Someone in their family committed suicide and they took it upon themselves. They were sexually abused. They were made fun of, okay? This is just one example. And some people take drugs. Some people are adrenaline junkies in replacement. Some people eat their emotions. Now, that emotion came from a hurt in their life. So, flack would be the better expression. An arrow came in. Now, let's see here. Let's get an arrow here. Now, this arrow is in the body. From, I don't know, someone says something mean to an individual. Again, the example is why they're eating their emotions. Now, it comes in, and sometimes people approach. I'm trying to make this video my family's place. So, this arrow comes by, and instead of someone get too close and push the arrow and it really digs in deeper and brings in pain, they're gonna set a wall. That's one thing. 2, you have a pain. This comes from this arrow, this pain in your life, and obviously it's pain. So what does someone do? Someone has a headache, they take pain relievers, or a back pain, they get a headache reliever or a pain reliever for that pain. Now that's why I said some do drugs, some do adrenaline, some eat, and many other things. It's basically to cover up and put a bandage over the pain. Now, rather than going to the doctor, removing it, going through a healing process, and then you have the scar that remains, but the pain is no longer there, so the need to cover that pain is no longer there. So this is why I say through forgiveness, through dealing with your burdens, your fears, anxieties, you're able to remove that pain, which in other words, you don't need to bandage it. There's no need to bandage. Why? How many people take headache removers when you don't have a headache now, or cough syrup when you don't have a cough? So see, it's that same principle. You won't need to eat your emotions. You won't have that depression, that overwhelming, black cloud over your head that follows you everywhere you go. So, going to Jesus to resolve some of these things is my first way of dealing with my health. Also, many times anxiety, you can see, brings anxiety attacks. I mean, so you can see that there's so much negativity to what unforgiveness can do to a person. Someone who's filled with fear and gets schizophrenic, and so much around them, and high blood pressure and antidepressants, and so a lot of these things it goes back to the individual had a rough childhood. There's things that happened in their life that they just did not resolve, and they left undone, and now they're creating some side effects and infections inside. So I deal with this first part is spiritual. I dealt with that. I went through so much forgiveness, and that's how I was able to get away from these drugs that I were on, and that's how I was able to get away from a lot of my eating and my emotions. Have I gotten better? Absolutely. Have I fully resolved all of it? No, not quite. And this is the extra ones. This is the extra mile that I'm trying to go in my life this year. I've done about 6 years of dealing with my spiritual life. Now I'm trying to work on going that one step further. Now the second one would be the inputs. And when I say inputs, I mean food, environment, knowledge, and negative inputs. Now, let's start with food. Now, food basically consists of, you have proteins, you have fats, you have micronutrients, you have carbohydrates. Someone's making fun of me in the background. And with these foods, it's basically it's like a gas to a vehicle, and with this gas to a vehicle, you're gonna have an efficiency. You can have different fuels which will burn differently. Let's say ethanol to gasoline, and gasoline to kerosene, and kerosene to burning just a piece of wood. So you have energy sources, but they have different efficiency rates. Now, that's the same thing with a human. It's basically what you intake. It's kind of going to give you an efficiency towards your output. You eat like crap, you're probably going to perform like crap. You eat very well your performance should kind of reflect these kind of things. Now, that's something that I have to work on, and what I say is food will help you lose weight in the sense that you're not packing on these extra calories and you're not gaining. So the first stop to becoming clean is to stop getting dirty. Okay? So being able to adjust your food habits will greatly improve your ability to get healthier. Now, there's this basis along that people that eat greens and greens and greens, vegetables and fruits all day long, they're able to kind of, in a sense, through time, cure diseases, cancers, and gain, this is kind of a superior health to what they were taking before. We're able to get off of heart pain medicines and blood clotting medicines, and then just all these things, they're able to get off these pills just by eating a better diet. Because that brings in, fiber, and that brings in these nutrients that bring more, aid your digestive system and your organs to better do it, so you feel better inside and get more vitality from the bacteria that are inside your stomach, and then your brain is just more fresher and crisper. But you also get that fresh Christmas from the spiritual side, being able to forgive and get those burdens and fears up. That's no longer kind of, in a sense, oppressing you. Now your food's going to help you be vital, some vitality. That's kind of what I would say. Now, the other part is your environment. If you're in a third world country and you have a lot of unfiltered pollutions, well, this is kind of an environment that has a negative result upon your health. For those who live in, I don't want to say Tokyo, you'll see a lot of them wearing these little white masks that you can get at your local hardware store. Not because they're all sawing up wood and have or gyprock dust in the air. It's just the pollution. Some work with unhealthy standards with, I don't want to say, in the welding world, and they have the welding smoke, or they have acid kind of like products, and that can seep into the pores of the skin. So the environment that you're in can also affect you. You can have too much sun, too little sun. Okay, so basically, environment is one input. What you're inputting through your respiratory system, through your pores, through your eyes. In a sense, are you watching negative documentaries that are, in a sense, questioning life and stuff of this nature? Are you watching pornography that will bring you down in a marriage? Are you watching movies that are all pretty much fictional and, give you this fantasy world and the world that really requires reality? So you got this environment. What kind of environment you in? Next one is, I say knowledge is food. And this is another input. So what I've done is I've done a lot of self-studying towards what do I want to attain in life, how it will help me attain what I like in life. Okay, you want to research broccoli because it's in the store, so you research and then you see what kind of nutrients, what kind of benefits it brings. Then you go into tea, and then you're going to learn that this herbal tea helps you lose weight, it helps you gain hair, it helps you reduce your stress on your menopausal period, it helps you remove the cramps, and then you study into calisthenics does, and then you study, and then you study the Word of God, and you get deeper, and then you get this peace from the Word of God that you don't get from, you get the spiritual wisdom from God, and then versus, the human wisdom knowledge. But this knowledge is in a sense food and power to an individual to better understand what and why you're doing something. The other one is negative inputs. I've done a lot of that where you input aggressive, bad music, the films, the movies, the fast food, the cheap foods, the drugs, and the cigarettes, and excessive alcohol, excessive speeding, drinking while driving. These are just negative inputs that I'm bringing into me. Well, driving is the output, but nonetheless, I've done a lot of negative stuff towards me, and this is going to reflect towards my health also. Right? It's negative. There's nothing that gains positively, Now, with food, my view on food is basically as close. You try to get it as close as you can from the soil. Okay, we all know those who have gardens or are a farmer. Picking something fresh right off the the cob, the corn off the cob, or on the cob, or from the plant, whatever it is. The strawberry right off the plant, how fresh it is, and the cucumber and all these, the apples, those big apples, and the pumpkin. You have this freshness. Now, obviously, the better the soil, the better the freshness. So, I really like try to, if within budget, if I can, and availability, get it as fresh as possible, so you don't lose nutrients. And then you want to stick to a rainbow-like diet. When I say rainbow, you got greens, you got reds, oranges, orange color, yellow color. You got dark green, reddish green. You have so much to choose from. Now, play up a variety of things. Or if you have limited, choose the best that you can, the best for who you are, I study which ones are good for men, so you got like kale and spinach that are really good for men. Then you got carrots and apples, and then you got for vegetables, well, okay, the point is that there's basically, try to get fibers in. So you get non-soluble and soluble fibers are kind of ones that break down easier, and some that take longer, some that don't break down, some that break down. So you gotta, that's where the knowledge and studying is finding what food does what, and then what proportion you have. So along with the fruits and vegetables, then you have meats, where you have to study which meats are better for an individual, for you, and what you're looking for, what's available for price-wise. Pork here is cheaper for me than beef. It doesn't have much flavor, but yet it's healthier. Then you have white chicken, and then on the chicken it's like the breast or the leg. So you have all these things, right? And if you don't want to get your protein from meat sources, do you get it from beans? Do you get it from broccoli? Do you get it from couscous? Or where do you get your protein source? And so you got to work these out. And where you're going to get your micronutrients, which the fresher the vegetable it is, the more likely you're going to get those micronutrients out of it. Now, there's the word fats, and you got healthy fats and you got bad fats, and that's where I try to get my fats is from nuts, basically cashews, or the two best for me. The cheapest ones and the best ones I can get is pumpkin seed and sunflower seed. These would be the cheapest and most efficient for a male doing manly things, for circulatory and all this, and I get hemp seeds also. So with that, you're in healthy fats. Now I try to stay away with well draining, my ground beef, ground pork, drain it as much as possible. Take off the skin off the chicken and then cut off the fat bits and try not to eat it. So basically, you're gonna work on your inputs. Study your inputs. What you're going to put in you. The more you understand it, the better you're able to apply it. When to eat, when not to eat, how much to eat. There's a principle that says in the morning, eat like a king. During lunch, eat like a prince. And at dinner, you want to eat like someone that's impoverished, a beggar, in that essence, to reduce the size. And, there's a simple principle that before bed, if you eat, within about 3 hours of bed, that the food's going to kind of settle and stay in your stomach. It's not going to digest properly because you're shutting off certain systems when you sleep. Now, moving on to environment. My environment that I'm trying to be in is to get away from individuals that bring me down, that draw energy, time robbers, in essence. And it's better when you're around people that kind of build up with you rather than trying to tear you apart. Negativity is something you just don't want to be around. and not to be around people that are, not to be an opportunist and try to be around people that only they can give to you. That's not necessarily how it's supposed to work. But now, since I stopped drugs, I'm stopped being around those individuals that were doing drugs with me. Since I got out of criminal things, I'm not around, in most essence, those people who did criminal activities with me also. So this environment left. Now I got out of, stressful environments, and now there's much more of a peace in me, and I'm able to address my issues with a more sound mind. So I got myself out of these environments. I worked it out. Next knowledge is food, and this is where I have plenty of books that God put in my heart to get, and different websites and videos, and I study and I study. I look for patterns. I look how to apply it to my life. I look to see where am I wrong in life. Then one of the biggest books and the most important book for me would be the Bible. This shows me a perfect example of, and it shows me how wrong I am, and it shows me the perfect example of how to live and how to address. And if you were to do it this way, the results. It gives you the consequences of good and bad to the situation. It goes through faith. It goes through relying that you are weak, that you are limited, and that through Christ, through His Holy Spirit, He's able to strengthen you to do all these things that are asked of you. And the biggest one in the New Testament is to love one another as Christ loved you. And love is patient, love is kind. It's not jealous. It's not aggravated. And if we could just accomplish what love says, then wow. But how can you love an individual when you have hatred, you have anger, you have bitterness, you have jealousy, all these things that tear up marriages and relationships? How can you have it? You can't have love, or full 100% love, if you have 90% hatred. So you're gonna maybe have room for 10% love. So this is where the forgiveness, the transformation of Jesus Christ comes into play, and how this is a very good input also to health. Now, negative inputs, I addressed that. I quit doing the drugs. I quit listening to this and to doing that. And I did it bit by bit. I didn't do like this drastic cold turkey technique. It was as I got delivered with in my spiritual life, I was able to drop off these baggages that I carried with me, and from there I was able to change my output, which I'll be getting to. As I was saying before I got cut off, was basically the other part of my workout consists of weight training / bodybuilding. Now, the benefit to this is that you're able to focus on specific muscle groups and be able to overload a muscle, which normally is not easily achieved in calisthenics. If you ever seen a bodybuilder, he's going to have a much larger frame, and at certain times even certain muscle groups and definition that you have not seen in someone who does calisthenics, even if they are large and well cut. Now, it's best of combining both worlds, and since I have the availability of a gym, I'm at my house or in my apartment, I will use it. And then the third part was cardio. And this is my weak point, because I have a weak cardiovascular system. My blood rate, my heartbeat is pretty high. My heart rate and my blood pressure and the cholesterol, these are all getting pretty high. So basically, the internal part of me that relates to cardio plus my lack of lungs capacity due to smoking, lack of blood currency through my body, through drugs, through blood clots, through cigarette nicotine clots, through ecstasy and speed and all these things taking its effect on someone. And so I gotta rebuild this system in my life. So that's why I said low cardio, is because I'm not really into long distance, high heart rate kind of activities. It's just not really in my nature. So, but I can get my heart rate up, let it come back down, work it back up, bring it back down. But enough to basically to the point where you're out of breath to really speak. Now, this will help me lose weight, but usually when you're done with cardio, it stops there. Versus weight training calisthenics, which carries over this afterburn effect to the days that you're not training, up to, about, maybe they say up to like 32 hours, but again, this all dependent upon how hard you train and the circumstances. So, I gotta combine in things like jump roping, burpees. There's some, little quick 5-minute cardio things that are on YouTube if you want to look at. And basically, I used to ride my bike, but now it's snowing, I can't, and I don't like to jog, I don't like to run. and so I don't have much space in my apartment, so I gotta figure out something kind of very stationary kind of cardio. Now, these are the three main areas I'm going to work on. Basically, calisthenics can be done in my kitchen. It can be done pretty much anywhere you have a workable area to put your body. Lay it out in a push-up position. Maybe flip yourself up, do a handstand push-up. You know, you can go to the counters where there's a corner, a triangle kind of like corner. You know, do dips on that. You can squat in the position that you're standing right now. You can do isolating squats, or do the chair basically on the wall, and you know, you find a ledge, do chin-ups. You're able to do it. Just pump it out, pump it out. This is what I would like to address in my workout. So I've gone through the spiritual. I've gone through input and output quite quickly, you know, and I can go more in depth, and we might break that down with questions and whatnot. So this is the approach that I find is suitable for me, and I hope y'all can, you know, share some knowledge with me, more specifically on calisthenics, and I'm looking for form, more perfect form, really working, isolating muscles. Right now I kind of need to work on major moves, so deadlifts, squats, bench press, dips, chin-ups. So I got to work on these, you know, these even push-ups. You know, I got to work up. I don't have advanced moves. I don't have that strength. I got to build small and work up from there. So basically, I'm starting off very simple. I'm starting off by focusing. I first focused on my spiritual, and I've been getting that done a lot. But now it's like where I've done so much foundational work spiritually that I don't have to put so much energy towards it. So now I'm working on the inner health, which is when the first month that I'm doing it, it's a lot of the detoxing, and my body's spending a lot of energy focusing on repairing and getting rid of layer after layer of gunk that I have inside. Then I'm also telling my body through some minor exercising, you know, to get them sore, but just to say, hey guys, I'm going to be using you, get ready, warm up. You know, in the following months I'm going to get more intense when my body has a lesser effect to detoxing. With that being said, it's basically, it won't have to focus so much on repairing, and it'll be able to focus on muscle building. Then with proper nutrients, I can, you know, fill in the gaps that my muscles need, some extra protein, some carbs for energy. But right now I think I have enough belly and body fat to use energy blocks. I just need to get there and use them. So within the first month, I'm not looking for real aesthetic gains as much as how vibrant do I feel when I'm in the morning through my day, at night, how do I sleep better, how does my mind function better, the functionality of how my liver can form its crap and release it in the, you know, in the toilet. These are the aspects that I'm looking and focusing on. So this is just an overview of my approach on Divine Faith Revving Fitness. Thank y'all. Send comments, like, share, badly comment. I don't really care. It's just practicing, and I'm going to see some improvements, and I want to share the experience with y'all. Thank y'all.